is the Lexus Sports Extra with Josh Moser, Mike DePasquale, Donovan Campbell, and Drew Rosenhaus.
Hi, everybody. Welcome into our Channel 7 studios. This is Lexus Sports Extra. I'm Josh Moser. It is the divisional weekend in the NFL. The Dolphins ousted in the wild card round by the Bills. Buffalo hosting Cincinnati for the right to play the top-seeded Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. Cincinnati in the Super Bowl last season and hoping to give Buffalo a lift is Damar Hamlin, the safety attending his first game since collapsing on the field January 2nd, a special moment at Highmark Stadium. First quarter Bengals opening drive. Joe Burrow stepping up in the pocket, floats it to Jamar Chase. Cincinnati strikes first. It's 7-0. Next Bengals possession. Burrow pumps to Chase, but it's Hayden Hurst over the top for the score. It is 14-0 in a hurry. Second quarter, Bills battling back. First and goal, Josh Allen on the QB keeper, and Allen is fired up. It is a one-possession game, 14-7. It's 17-10 at the half, end of the third. Bengals second and goal. Joe Mixon punching it in for the 1-yard score. Bengals win on the road 27-10. It is 10 straight wins for Cincy heading into the AFC Championship.
It doesn't matter what anybody thinks about us. We don't care who's favored, who's not. We're built for this, and we're excited to go on the road to Kansas City.
Everyone talking about a neutral AFC Championship game, not even thinking about you guys. How much did that motivate you coming into this?
You better send those refunds.
Love to hear it. NFC Cowboys 49ers meeting for the right to play the top-seeded Eagles. Second quarter, Dallas first and goal off of play action. Dak Prescott finding Dalton Schultz. It's 7-3 Cowboys. Fast forward, 5:20 to play in the third quarter. 49ers from their own 20. Brock Purdy rolling to his left, sets his feet, firing across the middle. George Kittle on the circus catch. San Fran into Dallas territory. Same drive, first play of the fourth quarter, second and goal. Christian McCaffrey walking it in. That made it 16-9. SF goes on to win 19-12, advancing to the NFC Championship game for the third time in 4 years.
Extra points.
Time now to zoom in. Drew Rosenhaus on Lexus Sports Extra. Drew, an amazing divisional round. We're on to Championship Sunday. Before we talk about the games, I want to talk specifically about the Dolphins and quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. General Manager Chris Grier and head coach Mike McDaniel fully endorsing him as their franchise quarterback. If you were to put your GM cap on, what do you do with Tua long-term, knowing there's an opportunity to tag him coming up for his fifth season in May?
You know, because of the injuries that he's had in his career, I would probably hold off on guaranteeing his option year, see how this season goes, and then sign him to a contract extension or use the franchise tag. Tua is a wonderful talent when healthy, but he's missed a lot of games in his career, and his durability is the biggest question mark. But you can win with this man when he's healthy, and I think it's the right thing to back him, and I would go into the season, and I would certainly land a top backup. I think they've got to make that a priority. You cannot go into the season just assuming that Tua is going to be there the entire time based on his career, but I'd get another backup, and maybe Skylar Thompson's that guy.
You've represented a lot of clients that have dealt with concussions. Chris Grier saying that Tua is not prone to more concussions because he had a few in a short period of time. How much do you believe that in your experience?
Well, I respect Chris Grier, but in my experience, I found it to be different. We had a number of clients that once they started getting, 1, 2, God forbid, 3 concussions, they came much easier. I haven't had a lot of clients with that issue, but those who had 2 or 3 concussions, I was very concerned about how it would impact them in the future.
Let's talk briefly about the defense, the team moving on from defensive coordinator Josh Boyer. Drew, why was this the right move?
Well, you kind of saw it happen because the defense regressed without Brian Flores. And really, Josh Boyer was an unproven commodity who was the D coordinator under a defensive guru as a head coach from Brian Flores. I think the Dolphins will get a defensive coordinator who has a long-standing track record, who's been a successful defensive coordinator. I think they'll go with more of a sure thing moving forward, someone that's done it independent of a Brian Flores head coach. And you know what? I think that that can only be a good thing at this point.
We saw the Bills get beat by the Bengals. How much does that loss by Buffalo show you how close the Dolphins are to winning the division?
Well, I just think it was a battle of two powerhouses. The Bills have won 8 games in a row, and the Bengals have won 9 games in a row. And quite frankly, it came down to the fact that Joe Burrow is playing better than Josh Allen right now. Buffalo didn't play their best football at the end of the season. The Dolphins nearly had them with Skylar Thompson, and New England came close to beating them as well, but for 2 Naheem Hines returns on special teams. So I don't think the Bills went into it playing their best. Well, I think the Bengals may be the hottest team in all of football right now.
Sure. Thank you so much, as always, for the time. We appreciate it.
You bet, Josh. Talk to you next week.
The Heat are expected to be active ahead of the February 9 trade deadline. Currently, Miami sits 6th in the East, hosting the Pelicans this afternoon. 2 seconds left in the first quarter. Devontae Graham, the steal, the Heat from half court. And how about it, everybody? NO up 6 after 1. End of the second. Victor Oladipo on the takeaway gets it to Tyler Hero. Capped off a 10-0 run to cut the lead to 6. Third quarter, Oladipo working the pick and roll, slashing to the basket. Miami down 1. Roughly 5 minutes to play. Jimmy Butler finding Hero from the corner. It's Miami's first lead of the contest, 84-82. Under 90 seconds left, Kyle Lowry coming up clutch. It is a 3-point lead. 15 ticks remaining. Heat on the inbounds play. Lowry can't get it in. Timeout called. Heat will advance the ball. Lowry trying to get it again, but has to call another timeout. Pelicans clamping down, trailing by 2. Third chance to inbounds. Lowry throws it over the top to Jimmy Butler. We've got a jump ball. Pelicans get possession. Call timeout to advance. Butler gambles for the steal. C.J. McCollum has the clean look, but luckily it is off the iron. He'd survive 196.
He had some really good execution down the stretch, and Kyle was a major part of that. And he just kind of went vintage there and made a lot of big plays going down the stretch. Certainly when he's aggressive and you have to play him in pick and rolls, that makes us much more dynamic.
First place Celtics coming to Miami-Dade Arena next Tuesday night. And when Lexus Sports Extra returns, we check in on the Cats. Plus, it's a jockey racing in next weekend's Pegasus World Cup that also races in a different sport. We explain. Plus, it's an Olympic sport that was turned into a movie that's beloved in South Florida. We explain the original name behind wheelchair rugby.